What's up, TikTok? This your boy Homegrown Tone and my game, Who versus Who. Where we dig into my magic bucket, pull out a topic, then we talk about it. Today's topic, pause for effect. Chicago gangs versus LA gangs. Now I know, see, I had to wear my special hat for this edition. Now I know if you're a follower of mine, or if you're a new follower, I'm from the south side of Chicago for life. So, there's not going to be any bias in me. We don't do that on the show. We don't do that. Pound for pound. Slug it out. Talk it out in the comments. But I'm going to break each one of them down and you decide. All right? I'm going to go with what I know first. Chicago. Now, when people say Chicago, what they really don't know is Chicago is made up of 4 different parts. You got the south side, you got the north side, you got the east side, and you got the west side. Okay? Every single one of those parts has gangs in it. Every single one of them. Gang infested. And this is from my era. I'm talking about my era. What they're doing now is, I'm talking about real, we talking about the 90s. Let me give some context to gangsters. Because this whack stuff that they're doing now, that's not gangster. Let's keep it real. Alright, so you got black gangs, Latin gangs, right? All these different gangs. Same thing with LA. LA, people think that it's just the Bloods and the Crips. It's not. They got the same thing. They got Mexican gangs and I saw, go to YouTube. I saw a special. Now, I saw a special just the other day. Now, like I said, from my era, the Crips and the Bloods were black. They was running things. Look it up. The Compton, Crips, Bloods, Blacks in the 90s. You couldn't go through there. You couldn't go through there. It was locked down. What you saw in the movies was how it was in real life. Now, what they did was the Mexican cartels came in because they speak the same language, flooded the market, and cut the brothers out. So the Mexicans, and then they bought up all of the land. I don't want to get sued. This is my First Amendment right. I have an opinion and my right to it, and it's all factual, and you can Google it. The Mexicans came in and bought up that land and ran them boys up out of there. How gangster is that? Within 30 years, they got ran up out of there. Out of there. But they were smart. What they did was, back in the 80s, they started they were the first ones who started that crack distribution. Think about it. They took that crack. Wasn't nobody else doing crack. Nobody. Y'all do your history. They went up to Oakland. Them boys went up there and learned how to get the recipe. Look at Snowfall. They went up there and got that recipe, got that rock cooked. It's in California. That alone should win, as in my opinion. I don't even know. I just thought about that. We don't even have to talk about Chicago gangs. We're going to forget Chicago. So they took the rock and distributed it all around California first. All right? Then what they did was they took the show on the road. These little entrepreneur gang bangers used to go to places like St. Louis and other cities in the Midwest and come up. Nobody knew what crack was. They had no idea. They destroyed whole communities behind this crack rock. And they settled everywhere. It's like the Borg. They went to Atlanta. You don't hear about Chicago gangs in Chicago, maybe in New York. You got gangsters and disciples. You got your vice lords. You know what I mean? You know, if you're in Chicago, you know the breakdowns, the Mickey Cobblestones, the Dragons. You know that stuff. But nah, the world knows Pyru. The world knows this, that, and the third. All these sets, the prisons. Who's running the prison system? So they set up that distribution network. Chicago wouldn't have crack if it wasn't for LA. They did it. The Mexicans didn't even know what to do with it. They had to teach the Mexicans how to cook the crack up. And that was their demise. That was their demise. Once they gave away the recipe, the Mexicans had the coke for cheap. They spoke the same language, even though they came from different countries. They spoke the same language. And you know who funded this whole operation? The United States government. Look it up. Google Oliver North. I'm sitting in the Marine barracks one Friday evening, and I'm looking at the news, and I see another Marine officer testify. I'm like, what the hell's going on? What talking about? We don't testify. That must be really, really major. Turns out the CIA had a secret war going on with the Contras in another country. They had a secret war going on, like the Bay of Pigs. We'll talk about that in Cuba. These secret wars at the CIA. This is my opinion, my First Amendment right. The CIA was buying the cocaine and flooding it in the black community. Look it up. They used to bring trains in to the black community full of guns. Where do you think they got those guns from? And just open the doors up. Oh, we don't know what happened to the cargo. You know what happened to the cargo? That's how the gangs got armed. And then Joe Biden, President Biden, no disrespect, but that crime bill, do you know what it did to us? You locked us up. So many people, so many black men and brown men and black women and brown women have been locked up that now you all have to start releasing people. I live in the Dominican Republic now. I can speak against the USA. That's trash. That's trash. And then you want to talk about black people need a handout. What? You systematically raped us since slavery, and you want to talk about we need a hand up? You redlined us. You bombed us. You've done everything to us. And they want to turn around and say that we're the problem. What is black on black crime? Crime is not black on black or white on white. Crime is done by the proximity of your area. Don't be ignorant. This homegrown tone about